Hello. It has been a while. 10 days to be exact, as we are casually looking at the Garlemald picture, which I'm not seeing. There's some interesting stuff next to it. Hello! Hope everyone has been doing well on this lovely Thursday. It's been about roughly 10 days since we last played it. Been about roughly 10 days since I had an actual stream. So yeah. It's the 21st of July 2022. It is 8:30. We're half an hour late today because, as it turns out, having to fix a lot of things makes for a hard time. I hope everyone has been doing well in my absence. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe today we're going to have a different high chat image. Hang on. Because of the fact that we have officially mixed up the avatar. Let me go ahead and go to there. And let us go to... There we go. Let me go ahead and see how that is going to work. But yeah, so I had my midterms, or my finals. I've managed to get a passing grade for all of them. Yay! And now I only have to redo the pieces, and I'm currently deciding on if I want to wait for a year for that, or if I can fix it in 3 weeks. Also, we had the hottest weather on record, second hottest weather on record. 2019 at 40 degrees, we had 39. So 1 whole degree less. So yeah, I was basically surviving to the on Thursday, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, let's see. Oh, look at that. I'm kind of wondering, how does this look in order to hide the chat? Like, is it the right size? Does it look a bit too tacky? How does this look? Kinda trying to hide it. There we go. Also, hi, German. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, so how does this look as a way to hide chat? Let me see. Let me have a look around there. So also thanks to German for the new avatar, at least for modifying an avatar that I was planning to use to make it more legible. So yeah, that will be hiding our chat from now on. Only problem is that, hang on. The only problem is that I kind of need to be able to read it. So we're going to have to do this. A bit pink. This works. Like, yeah, this works. So anyway, last time around, we finished up the Tower of Zod, and we've made an insurrection into Garlemald, where we are right now. And that ominous tower, still looking over us, watching, knowing full well that whatever we're going to find here isn't going to be good. Also, let me go ahead and play this one. Actually planning on making it so that certain subscriptions numbers have like different modifiers attached to them, but hey. There we go. Let me go and put you here. But actually, I mean, I might as well go ahead and use this time in order to fix this. Okay, yeah, so there's no way. I'm going to have to fix that at some point. But yeah, so, thank you very much to Carlos, who 8 days ago gave 2 gift subs to both Saya Nuki and Red Panda Express. Mostly because of the fact that he and I were talking to one another. So yeah, we have quite literally just entered Camp Broken Glass. As you've seen the title, then you know that I've already finished up the game before, which means that we are using the theater mode, meaning anything that hasn't happened on screen yet hasn't technically happened. Also, I lost like 3 kilograms from the heat today, which is from in the past few days, which is not good. And I've got myself some spa red because I like the bubbles. So yeah, in spite of the obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace. Just a little further, and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we are to discuss a course of action with Lucia. Would you mind asking Stola and Graha to join us in the building to the northeast of the camp? Alize and I will meet you there. Yes. To the northeast. That's not... Oh, never mind. I'm gonna kind of want to say, like, that's not the northeast, game. That's the southeast. A meeting! Yes, I'll make my way over once my head has cleared. In truth, I've been feeling out of sorts since we arrived. The air is thick with a palpable aura of malevolence. 'Tis the monstrous tower over the horizon, jagged, hideous, unholy. Even at this distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zod, only far more terrifying. Ether flows unceasingly towards it, converging into a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constancy on the air is helping to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. One second. There we go. That's kind of the one problem I have with this little picture, is that it's like, it's just too square to really allow for the perfect hiding of the jet, but hey, that's my problem. There will be no picture that will actually work. You will be pleased to know most of the tempered have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small part of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that everyone fled at first sign of trouble, though it seems to me they left far too many useful positions behind. Aye, although there is no conclusive evidence. I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking out loud. You mentioned a meeting? I'll make my way there. So yeah, we are now here to liberate Gardenwald, although one can only wonder how much liberating there really is to be done here. I do like this. The fact that this ominous tower is always there in the distance, combined with the snow, makes for a really nice... Because this can be seen from anywhere on the map, so you're always very aware of what's going on. Also, the first time we actually have to use our ether compass again. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. We're ready for lots of ether compass stuff. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. Well, everyone is here, we will begin. Also, I need to, like, probably spend a few days just leveling up another character because we are already at 83 and we've only just started the 82 quest.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city, for therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers in their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with cerulean heaters that can keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinist will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telothroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
This time, please try to avoid being captured.
'Twould be my honor to be of service, though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
Oh, joy! Just the thing I'm good at.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rhine. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields.
Oh. Ice fields! I love ice fields! Oh, wait! No, I don't. I'm so sorry if there's a sarcastic option, I just have to pick it. It's in my nature.
As ever, you do not want for enthusiasm. But given your experience traipsing about through Kurthus, I should be surprised if you let a little inclement weather dampen your redoubtable spirits. And even if that were the case, the promise of hot soup upon your return would surely spur you to action. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
You mean which of the people? She mean her? Because she indeed. Oh, you mean the woman that was just speaking? Because that hairstyle, I believe, is in game. Yeah, her hairstyle is, I believe, in game. I'm personally more a fan of the hairstyle that I have, but yeah, there's actually a surprising amount of like variety in the characters and how you can immediately notice them at a glance. Let me actually go back here for you. Like there is, I believe you can just grab this one like as a hairstyle if you want to. But I'm not 100% certain on that. Like I believe some characters have like unique hairstyles that are only available to them. Gods be good, if this cold whiff the Taurus clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. I must remember to thank her when we next meet. If it makes me realize too that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them and quickly. It is a very stark reminder that the people that we've been fighting up until this point, like the enemy, you know, still has a home. And still has, you know, have their own struggles. And we will see more of that in a bit. What ho, chums? been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like a rather tall order. Ooh, no need to quite kill him yet, Elder. We still need him. Since you ask, where to scour the Eblin Rime for survivors? What? Wander around the ice fields on the off chance that you find someone? You ask, it would take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise. Or more specifically, my telescope. Come, friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. Oh, joy. I'll probably regret this. We may as well humor him. Oh, joy. We get to hang out with him. Okay, on to 35 jobs. In the meantime, I will say this: there will be 4 quests that we need to do to unlock flying. I will not be narrating those. I'll just quickly go through them and explain. If they're interesting, then I'll quickly explain what's going on with them. There will be 2 here in Camp Broken Steel and 2 further on. But if I might draw your eye to the fact that we are seeing the first true signs of technology in this world. It is a very stark reminder of just how much more advanced our enemy really is. You know, like we're seeing pipelines, we're seeing what is obviously some kind of oil field from here. This looks like almost like a train station. It's just a stark reminder of like, obviously we've seen it before throughout the game, but like not on this level. Kind of reminds me of the Long Dark, surprisingly. Oh god, it's the Hildebrand music. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheeping? Maybe it's a cow. No, we're after either way. Is that an ether current? Ah, no, it's just a wind sprite. Other than that, it's all snow, snow, snow. But lo, what do I see over yon hillock? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl. And that made it sound way more creepy than I probably should have. A survivor? Show me. Over there, beyond that tree. It looks like she's running away from something. Though surely not us. She won't even know we're here, unless she had a telescope like mine. All that I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress. A rather fetching one at that. Somehow not the thing I'm the most worried about, to be honest. She'll be long gone by the time they get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you're heading. Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you for the warming tinctures. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, if not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful. Thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. And lest we forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now go, and Godspeed. I remember you not being anywhere near the vault when our friend died, buddy. So don't go with your whole honor horse shtick. Or maybe it was, I don't remember. It's been a few years since I played Heavensward. Yeah, I'll just kind of let the music speak for itself for a bit. If you combine the music with the atmosphere, it creates a really interesting mood. Okay, so we need to go east. Ah, there we go. If you can just see them. I'm assuming that that's like just a normal bison that might have been maybe escaped or something. to be the same as Sushi saw previously. They had heading across the building. I mean, it's a bit. I think I know where they were before you told me, as they are rather obviously in frame, which was accidental. But getting closer, I'm sure of it. At first, we thought she'd gone inside the building, but the door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it is also possible she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? My pleasure. Then we're moving into the ice itself. Kinda like this first point of view. Ah, the girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from the distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It would be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing attention. Oh no. Oh no. It is a stealth section. Follow the girl from a safe distance. The objective will end in failure if you are noticed. Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. Similarly, okay. Come on, buddy. Start walking. Start walking. We are being Metal Gear here for a hot minute. You know, I've never been more terrified to hear something in the background. Nope, nobody's there. Nope, just your imagination. Also, if that is what an overgrown rose looks like, then I don't want to know what an angry rose looks like. Come on, buddy. Yeah, well... Oh, it looks like she's going to some kind of house over here. Also, the sound of those enemies moving just... Ew. Can I also say the fact that she doesn't hear the massive footsteps in the snow of the Warrior of Light running towards the next hiding spot? Yeah, damn it, that music. Also, I should mention, these are like... it's not like they react based on where you are, so it's just like every once in a while it's scripted for... Basically, it's scripted when they will turn around, so if you know when they're going to turn around, you kind of know where you need to be. Make sure not to lose her. think we've done it. Yes. There you go. Let's have a chat with the little girl, shall we? There we go, duty has been completed. We can then walk way back to just grab anything that we might have missed. Still in one piece. Approach the girl, speak with the girl. Yeah, you know, that sounds like an amazing idea. Like, she's just been terrified for her life that animals might hit, and now some random stranger is going to, you know, press on her shoulder. Like, I'm sure that won't be the most terrifying thing in the world for her. Anyway. That's actually not criticism of the game, it's just, you know, the general anime tropes. Who are you? Stay back! This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow this place sky high. Please, we just want to talk. I'm Alphino. This is my sister Alice, and our good friend Tribe. Hello. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all this. You did this to us. We didn't, I promise. One of the reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. Also, apologies for the voice. The Telophoroi are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They are the enemy. Our enemy. On our way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who had been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who wasn't already enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telophoroi's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's start with the introductions. Can you tell me your name? My name's, Licinia? As for how I was saved, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, and the roar, that terrible roar, and then the screams. I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Then came the silence. Everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran, past friends, people I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the void. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would carry me. Do you have family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers. Or it was, but now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were. The truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. This is everyone. Oh, hello. There's quite a few of you here, actually. Licinia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, we need to provide us with means of heating the place. As a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firework gathering skills to use. Could you provide a spark with a little magic, Alice? There's a little bit of home. We'll have a fire burning in no time. Maybe build it under the gazebo? The what? Oh, you mean the bower? Yes, do as you will. There's something about that stair that I'm not finding comfortable. Not quite the sound you probably should expect after that. Let's see what we have. We are level 84 now. Ow. That bonk is the sound of my headphones hitting my microphone. You might hear something in the distance. We'll be hearing that more as the game progresses. By the way, we have Divine Magic Mastery, which adds a healing effect to Holy Spirit, Holy Circle, and Confessional, which is good for me. And he increased some potency. And then the next one is Spirits Within to Explosion? Hang on. For some reason, I'm reading that as Explosion. And I'm just very confused at the moment. Let me see here. Delivers an attack to target on all enemies nearby. It's with a potency of 340 for the first enemy and 50% less for all many ones. And it restores MP. Okay. Ah, okay, I see. And that's oh, that's actually the last one. So our bars just won't change at all this expansion. Interesting. I probably need to also get Reaper up to 84 at some point. Kind of allow for us to continue on with that. How the mighty are fallen indeed. Oh, sorry. I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping that things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from what we're running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in a far worse state than me. We're planning to look for somewhere warmer with more food, but they're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health. Which, I don't know how to do that. Is there anything you can do to help them? Yeah, sure. Also, the How the Mighty Are Fallen is a reference to the fact that the Guardian Empire has obviously fallen. And that, whereas before they were the ones you know, like, punishing people, now they're the ones in need of help. Also a reminder that this questline all began with a quest called Sound the Bell, School's In. Like, yeah, in less than one level, the game has taken quite the turn. So we're seeing here what I presume to be like some kind of lake. It's outside of the borders, as you mentioned, like we can't actually go there. I can treat their frostbite and their wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of Emmanuelian's tinctures. The ones that can warm the body from the inside out. We can make sure everyone gets one. It's some small work, but it's, you know, useful. The numbness is beginning to subside. I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. Well, we have something to help you with that. Warming tincture? I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Though calling it that seems absurd after what happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more than meager protection from the wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magic tech that sustains us has come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational cannot be run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, Cerulia Ingens is full of the stuff, for all the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. Come on, buddy. Deep information. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? Ah, it was a joke, If I throw a laugh, just that I may not weep, so said the poet. And alas, my tears would freeze on my cheek ere where they fell. We are blessed, damned, to be a witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire, explosions and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavishly finery cooked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly towards the palace. Each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, an offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for our final judgment. It does really sell the picture of an... almost like it happened overnight. A tincture. May as well drink it, I suppose. Oh yeah, that looks like a thing. It's a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it? We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. They are different types, but this model is by far the most popular. Made with quality components, crafted with the finest ore. Sourced from Locus Amonis it is. Not all that are that useful since the capital went fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or ended up like all the others. Because we've been hearing the same music being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon. An ode to the brave man and woman sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Amonis. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hoped to take back what was once ours. This is a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. Oh boy. You know, sometimes it's better to just keep on living. So, quite a long time ago, we're talking about over 2 years ago, I made the statement that one of the dungeons looked a whole lot like World War I. And some commentator went like, of course it looks like World War I, the trenches. But this is for me the final nail in the coffin that the Guardian Empire is meant to represent an empire between World Wars I and II. The existence of that radio combined with everything else that we're going to be seeing, to me implies a nation that's basically... If we have to like put it onto our own technological timeline, it's like between World War I and II. Like there are airships. If we ignore the airships here for a second, like there are radios, there are trains. We've already seen a train station of some kind. There is definitely some form of oil refinery going on, but not quite in the same way of our empire, of our timeline. Like there isn't quite the technological boom that happened for us after the Second World War. So that's kind of why I'm more than ever convinced that this empire is meant to represent an empire in between, you know, like historically between the world wars. Which makes sense considering the fact that they are the only empire that doesn't have magic to their disposal. So they kind of have to find other ways to stay alive, basically. So it would make sense that the Guardian Empire's technological advancement would be on the same-ish level as that our own technological society went. Like, it would make sense if you don't have magic in a magical world to kind of start moving through the phases of the human technology as well. But yeah, that radio for me is sort of like the final nail in the coffin of that. Okay, now I'm sure that it's like that specific period in time. What is it? Tincture. It's meant to keep you warm. Also, why did we not give her that immediately? You're right there. So this is what you gave the others? Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Laternum? Laternum? I saw Legatus Vergillis groups heading towards the Magna Glaciers a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Yes, unfortunately. Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and the men are all there now. So how did you reach the Magna Glaciers? Did you cross the mountains on foot? Airships. Then there might be a way to... Messinia? Where is everyone? Oh, there is... Oh no. Is something the matter? There's another child. Oh no. A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone's out here. Perhaps a baby Almasty has found its way into the house. Wouldn't be the first time. Without the soldiers to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming close to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat the Legatus, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you've mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what we can tell. Kinda like the fact that they kinda zoom into where you need to go. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's not something we can get on our own. On top of that, even to reach that end, we'd have to make the way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay the tappers. Yeah, you bet. Watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. Yes, of course. If I see any, I will shoo them away. To reach Stepastan, you have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you need to take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. Yeah, because this totally is not a trap in any way, shape or form. I should mention the music you're hearing in the background that you were hearing while we are over there. It's actually only placed in this specific area. Once we go beyond it, you move back into the normal music. And there will be a few other moments like that where the music will be changing to show the situation of the survivors. No! I jumped the wrong way. No! God damn it. Ah, never mind. There's okay. Because I know that there is an ether current right on top of these. At least I think there is. And if not, then, well, at the very least we've been able to have a nice, lovely walk. Actually reminds me a lot of Nier Automata for some reason, but that might just be that the art style of the Guardian Empire is close enough to Nier Automata's art style that it's, you know, that it just kind of reminds me of that. Also, there are not a whole lot of designs of like oil refineries, so that would make sense actually. I will also say right now we're not going to be entering a dungeon today, that will be happening tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow's stream is going to be really busy, if my calculations are right on where we're going to be ending today and where we're going to be starting tomorrow. Like, there will be a lot of stuff happening on tomorrow's stream. And there we go, there's a third air current, Christ, a third winter current. Aether current. But yeah. I'm also deliberately not taking like any joke ones. I always like to kind of immerse myself in what the game is meant to give as for an area. Like for example, earlier on in Christ, words hard today. Earlier on in Labyrinthos, the mood was a bit more jokey, so I can be a bit more jokey. Whereas now the mood is obviously very somber, very much meant to be like a rescue operation. So I'm trying to kind of get the character into the same mood. Although whenever they give me a very sarcastic option, I will always pick it. There is no question about that. Who goes there? And how did you find us? Well, did find something. What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the poor bloods over at Spec Victor spoils and given away our location, you would have never found us. Those stuck-up assholes. That they could come waltzing in here demanding cerulean with nothing to offer in return. Look like it's the butts on the other foot now the capital's gone to shite. So they've resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another thing coming. Oh, hello. Wasn't quite ready for that. But yeah, now that we have HP that can, or now that we have attacks that can heal us, we are a lot more bulky in regards to defense. No, you're not dead yet, buddy. You wish. Oh, my apologies, hang on. There you are. Just after you left, Licinia asked me to go and catch up with you. In case you needed a hand, someone must have let slip that I have a little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. That is I believe, a comment on Stormblood. So this is Tepper's Den. Well then, after you. But I can't quite remember the moment that she did that. Could also be one of the patches. Also, oh, hang on. Oops, let's hide that. Who are you? What happened to the guards? They're napping. Let's say that hypothetically they're napping. Eosians and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the world would you pass up the chance to put the Imperial bastards through the sword? Let me guess. None of you are Guardian. You were brought here from other lands. Garabania, Yangshe, Bosha, Delmeska, to name but a few. Some dragged here against their will, other fed bollocks about a better life. All put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom row of the ladder, rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. About the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is cerulean ingots. Still sustaining us, even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up cerulean from the bottom of the lake. But how can you do that if it's frozen over? Ha! Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with these city ruins. We take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent that we've got ceruleum by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. Sounds like a very fair trade to me. You can certainly ask, but if you're free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we managed to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us, thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being. Long as there's a need for ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by. Even if Garlemald as we know it is gone for good. gone for good. It is very much a reminder that this country isn't salvageable. Regardless of what the Ilsebard contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause for celebration, but for others, their whole way of life will have turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed by the Empire in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it is consigned to history. But what of the other ordinary people? Their lives, their stories, should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. So you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? What? Those purebloods up at Victor of Spoils sent you? Turn to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Lysinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister? But we only saw Lysinia and 3 men. Ah, so that's what the monster was all about. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'll be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Lysinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange. But I can spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them on our way, you hear? I'll be sure to send them our way. There we go. I can't for the life of me think why Lysinia would keep her sister a secret from us, but we can ask about it after we deliver the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. Now, so thunderstorms. Oh, that's because it actually moved towards thunder as a weather. Okay, I was already wondering, am I hearing thunderstorms in my own area, or am I hearing them somewhere else? Also, I'm going to see if I can make the Twitter messages to be sort of like a news story based on our Fallout New Vegas playthroughs. Also, I'll be honest here, I'm not certain, German maybe can help me with that. On the one hand, I kind of want to thank you on Twitter for the changes to the avatar, but since you didn't originally make the picture, I'm not certain if it's, good etiquette. If it's, the right etiquette to, still thank you for it, or if it's okay, you just made modifications to the original artist's picture, so therefore it's not really... I'm not really meant to thank you for that. I'm not certain what the etiquette is here in this case, because sort of second order changes to a picture. This isn't right. It is too quiet. I would have thought Elfina would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house, while you search outside. They can't have gone far. I mean, I don't know if German is even here, but... Well, look here. Hello? You okay, buddy? They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard. Forced me to defend myself. I feared I'd rather die than surrender. You can't fool us! Something. Was too fast. Vultures, that's what you are. Waiting in the wings to first to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help? What rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you win. Put ourselves at your mercy. Put us in chains. Steal our lands. Get your revenge. You're wrong. This is not what any of us wanted. Save the arguments for later. We've got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles and a bed that was still warm. It's true. Lysinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. Oh boy, but now there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours, and if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. Oh, brother. We're trying to help them, you idiot! Her sister's ill, the empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pocket to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere, how could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. God damn it, let me repeat that. To protect them from you. God damn. It wasn't even the sound that was coming out of my mouth. You invaded homeland? Traded with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen? Guardians should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep the purity intact, than be corrupted by your foul magics. When we were waiting for a chance to free them, since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Lucinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright. Be careful. It really shows like how what for them must have been decades of propaganda can do to a person. We'll do our best to find them quickly. And the thunder in the background is making it even more obvious than it should be. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we will start. Like, it makes the entire thing a lot more ominous, even though technically it is just part of the background noise. Also, hang on, let me see or something. Okay, yeah, no, that works. I made the picture a bit bigger, so it actually encompasses the entire chat. And as far as I'm aware, like, if the reason that I always kind of leave the picture out of important cutscenes is because something can happen on that player screen where you might not be able to see it. 2 sets of fresh footprints. Young woman, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. And you are now starting to see where the sacrifice part in Snow and Sacrifice comes from. And I'll kind of see if I can like constantly make it, for the titles, constantly make it like 2 words. Like, I'm probably thinking of something like fun and games. No, wait, that's the Better Call Saul episode of last week. Which, can I just say how much Better Call Saul, like, just blows my mind, even in the final few episodes. Like, this week's episode was just amazing. Anyway, I've talked about that a lot already. But yeah, it's utterly amazing. But I'm thinking for the next stream, I'm already kind of thinking ahead for it to be something like... It doesn't have to be alliterative, you know. But I'm thinking of something like terror and tranquility. For the next stream, but we'll see. We'll kind of see how far we get today. Then I can kind of make judgment calls based on how long it's going to take me and how long I'll be streaming for tomorrow. The trail stops at a frozen lake. Perhaps they choose this route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphino's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. That thunder there, right there, is like... right on cue. Search for hints as to Lucinia and her sister's whereabouts. Like, the weather today, I don't know why whenever I'm whenever I'm streaming, but like, the weather effects in the game always like work out precisely so that it creates a really nice atmosphere. Which I'm personally really happy with. The empty bottle smells faintly of alcohol. The thin coating of dirt indicates it has been here for some time. So some drunk person probably died in the snow here. I think it's actually right there, if I remember correctly. Ignore the Zoblin, if you please. Oh, that can't be good. It's fresh blood right here. The blood staining the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood leads southeastwards. Also, please ignore the massive Emperor's Rose. Oh, never mind, that's an B rank enemy. Ignore that. Oh no. The two bodies are already cold. Oh no.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked.
They weren't. At least I don't think so.
No. Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
And to who?
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
This is a fate that no one deserves. At any point in time. At the very least, they've been given the dignity for proper burial.
I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
It definitely hits home exactly how insane it is what we're doing. But the only way now is forward. There must be something we could have done. But what? Should we have never come here? Would he still be alive if we hadn't? Let's take a way forward. We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make a report to Lucia and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Well, let's actually walk back so that we can kind of take up all of the... so we can grab someone else going through that right now. Let's just kind of follow the main road, I guess. It is definitely a scene that like hits harder than it probably should. And yet, at the same time, there is like no real other way to do this. I mean... oh, never mind. I believe we're going to come here as part of the main story. Like, I mean... it really hits home just how you are seen as... you know, like people are willing to kill themselves in order not to be seen by you. Like that one just... yeah. It just hits home what the story is trying to convey. And remember, this is level 82, like we're not even a fifth, or we're about a fifth into the expansion. Maybe not even that. One can only wonder what else this game has in store for us. Also, let me check in to make sure that I'm actually... yeah, okay, Cam Broken class. Wanted to make sure that I don't have to walk all the way back here at a later point in time. Christ. LSA and Alphano tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrained from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account? Yeah, I'm not certain if you want my account, to be honest.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the Victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's Third Legion clashed with the First, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events of the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory. And that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
Well, that is not terrifying in the slightest.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal,
Oh boy.
then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends! I must speak with you!
It's a strange quirk of history, isn't it? That the self-same...
A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
It's one of those weird things where there is
I think we do.
is a quirk of like the self-same civil war that allowed for all of this to happen also allowed some people to be spared from that self-same thing.
Who do we have here?
Garleans?
Hello.
Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
That's about the reaction we expected.
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
Technically, she is of higher rank than you, buddy.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
Our guards will be on tea break during that exact moment.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
I also like
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
just the sheer desperation, I guess,
May I ask why?
on his end.
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
It's actually really interesting that for him, as a way to kind of like keep control of the situation, that he is kind of like being very authoritative. Because if he doesn't, then he might just lose himself in what is essentially a death trap for him. Like, he kinda needs to be that authoritative for himself, because, I mean, what else are you going to do? You will be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Bankrupt in particular will be worried sick if you're gone too long. May the Fury watch over you and keep you. That's a very nice hint that we've got someone watching us. Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we are outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it as an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. And suddenly it moved to rain. Once again, a very... yeah. It's a very appropriate weather, a very appropriate mood. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead, I want to see where I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alize, and he's Alphano. Last but not least, this tribe. Hello! Tribe. Where have I heard the name before? No matter. Alphano and Alize will watch the road ahead, while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter run, towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we'll go around them. Once you choose to depart, Julius will accompany you. Alphano and Alice will then begin moving towards the destination. Make your way to Liminal Station 4 without following behind. So yeah, we're now following Julius for a while to kind of see where we're going. And this way we're also basically taking the route that he took to us. Now a bit of world building. And as per usual, can't really do much at the moment. But at some point we will have the freedom to kind of explore this area a bit more. But yeah. Kinda like the rain. Gives, once again, like this entire area, no matter the weather effect, it gives us a very interesting mood. And it just, I mean, just look at it. Some reflective surfaces. What I can assume is some form of transit station for the railroads. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friend knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. Before we do anything. Okay, to the north. 1 second before we do anything. But yeah, this indeed looks like some kind of like railway station. Oh dear. Seems like the tracks follow all the way to the pipeline right there. This is actually, I believe, where we, it's where I was very close to going before I went like, oh wait, hang on. Before I basically went, ooh. Also, I have misspoken about World War I. Between the World Wars, because these cars don't look like they belong in that era. I stand corrected, they are modern day Empire. It's a... maybe it's just me, but the idea of there being like cars in this world just weirds me out for some reason. Kinda look like Trabants, to be honest. Like, I know that's not quite what they are probably meant to be, but for some reason I'm reminded of Trabants from like communist Eastern Europe from like back in the 1980s. And obviously, like, these cars are never used in anything, but there is still storytelling going on there. Like, they could have just left those cars out. But they didn't, because it tells you something about this very tiny place that's just there as what I can only assume to be is like there is a little, you know, like people can be here, wait for people to come home. They will stand on the station. Like, there's obviously a story here that perhaps in different times, in a different expansion, you know, if we had been able to get here in an earlier expansion, you know, we might have seen people just waiting for trains to kind of get them into the capital or get them out of it. Towards different parts of the provinces. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas. Or at least was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs, they'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, now wandering off. Understood? The last bastion. From here we will be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the road itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own but slaughter the rest without hesitation. They will try to avoid detection. The chance of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. And while I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. And from now on we have a lot more free, we can just do more free roaming. Not that it matters at the moment. And there we have the train that was either passing by the station or like was about to enter it. This is what I mean when I say like this area, like every tiny little place has its own small story. You know, there are cars, obviously, with people waiting here. Or, you know, they were either waiting or the cars were just there as they had boarded. Maybe even the last train out of the, you know, maybe even the last train out of the Empire before the destruction that you can see here in the distance. Like, it can only make one wonder about what the story is that could be told here. I see why your comrades choose you. Jullus, our contingent, has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They are beyond saving. Those who would fought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. And remember, like, this has been happening since essentially the end of Stormblood. Like, while we were busy in Shadowbringers, Garlemald was on their own. So I can kind of see why they're basically all, you know, no outsiders and distrustful of everyone. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onwards. Moving ever so closer to wherever he wants us to go. And it seems like, oh, they've already been cut down. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered, and that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. Can at the very least stay out of the rain. I kind of like the fact also that there's like obviously that they thought about the fact that there would be like no snow here, which would make total sense. Like there are a lot of games where it's just like all snow, even underneath places that where there should be no snow, no matter what happens. So that's a really nice attention to detail right there. Also, what the hell is that? Oh, we've seen those before in the Tower of Zod, actually. That doesn't look human anymore. Like that looks... I've said this during the dungeon as well. That doesn't look human anymore. That looks more... almost... like... yeah, basically Lovecraftian. Look at what they have become. Would you still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it! Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you'll think twice before speaking of a cure. It's actually interesting that Julius sees it as very black and white. Because obviously what they meant is that it's like a qualification to the cure, but that Julius just is not seeing that. Or Julius, I will keep saying Julius, but okay. Well, we moved on to Cloud. Also, you might notice that there is meant to be an Aetheryte here, but there is no Aetheryte. I wonder what that could mean. And now we are there. Now we are on the outskirts of the Gallian capital. And yeah, it looks rather destroyed. We're almost there. You have kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. And there's the secret. A metro station. Down below. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, and if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive, over there. Yeah, welcome to Territorium. There's an Aetheryte here. The Aetheryte is not responding. So these are the trains that, you know, used to bring people to and from. Hello. You have quite the beard.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
So one of the two instigators of the Civil War.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our Emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. But after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
And yet you all have yourself to blame for that.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald?
Oh boy, here we go again.
Is it because we do not share your faith?
Is it because you enslave
people? That we do
people?
not share your heritage?
No, you enslave people. That's
that our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not?
It's mostly the enslaving part that's like the big problem here.
Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter.
That's what one could consider a very bad move.
You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
There's actually a very interesting question in bureaucratic relations, which is...
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment. But there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop! Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed.
Hello. Might not have... Oh, were you guys not aware of how I looked? Hello. We haven't met yet, I believe.
Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
So there is actually an interesting theory in bureaucratic politics that kind of goes by the question of why is a hawk a hawk? Or why is a warhawk, or to kind of put it differently, why is a dove a dove? And it talks about bureaucracy and the place of people within them. And the question posed basically asks the question of people who are put in certain positions, are they put there? And people who take certain positions, do they take those positions because of the chair that they hold, because of the position that they hold, or because of the beliefs they have? And there is a strand of political theory that argues that people who are basically put in, say, command of an army, or people who are, put in the diplomatic corps as ambassadors, already have views that are dispossessed to being part of that branch of government. Or to put it differently, you will never put a dove in charge of the army. You will never put a warmonger in charge of diplomacy. The two will always sort of naturally move towards the positions they are meant to be. And I think that this exchange really solidifies that idea, or kind of really gives a good showcase of that idea. Which is that this armyman is the commander of the first. He's been there. He's been part of the start of the Civil War. So words were never going to work on him, because you don't become commander in an army that's of a dictatorship without, even at least in public, ascribing to the ideas of that dictatorship. And that's why his question would never have resulted in a good answer. Because we are also fundamentally different. Not only, ignoring all of the horror that has been inflicted upon all of the provinces that aren't part of Garlemald proper. It's a question without answer that he asked about why do you reject unity? Because we've seen where that goes. Because the truth of the Empire is that it is part of an Essien plot, but you can't prove that. And not only that, but think back to what I just said about the office. He's a commander in an army. He's never going to accept an answer that goes against the office that he held. If the answer is being given is that his entire government was bailed towards the destruction of that his entire existence, his entire empire that he's fought and and seen people die for, is part of just a conspiracy to kind of to destroy the entire planet, Of course he wouldn't. I mean, first of all, no sane person would believe that if they hadn't seen it for themselves. But second of all, he would never have believed it even if there was proof. Because his position as a commander doesn't allow him to have any other disposition than we are the good guys. We are there to bring civilization. You know, it's almost like the white man's burden in a very strange, you know, one could almost call it the Guardian's burden. So this whole conversation kind of shows just how pointless even trying to talk to these people is. Because the position that they have within this structure and the fact that they've survived up until this point means that they're not going to just randomly accept our offers of kindness, because they've been indoctrinated into a system that has basically put us, especially like us as the Warrior of Light, as like the ultimate enemy. It is also a really nice callback to Harshavant and Heavensward.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
Took me 2 full 2 hours to get rid of that bottle. Interesting. I'll be taking a short break because I need to go to the toilet. Once we're back, we're starting Persona non grata, and I believe we're going to soon be starting the level 83 quests. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy the iCam and enjoy the music. And there we go, we're back. Let's continue with... Hang on, before we start. Important stuff first. Tertium. Tertium is the third station along the rail network which serves the Imperial city of Garlemald. Equipped as a dispatch yard with generators and other facilities, it was taken over and fortified by the remnants of the 1st Legion following the city's fall into ruination. Let's go ahead and start the final 52 or final 82 quest. Persona non grata. As per Lord Quintus' instructions, I am to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars. Nor would I tell you if I did. If you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus' orders, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Ignore the picky. Do as you will, but remember, I will be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, these shock collars will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation. And above all else, don't use magics of any sorts. You, on the other hand, may go wherever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if you tried. Well, that's a good thing. Do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alpha and Alizé will pay the price. That is still loud. You came with jealous, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Galleons, for Galleons. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep the place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. Okay, that actually makes sense as to why we can't actually use the aetherite right now. It's you! I'm Sagamura. Yes, hello, I am famous. I served under Lord Giles in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. Oh. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens, as though they were nothing to you. To be fair, they were trying to kill us. Apologies. To be fair, they were trying to kill us. And maybe I am too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return. Until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. So cold. This young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. Okay, yep. Hello. I know who you are. The so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? Yes, champion of Eorzea! Savior of twin worlds! Grabber of poop. As our reputation precedes us, I see. I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots. I swear I'll... Ugh. Yeah, toward the soldiers. Yeah, just, you know, for all the times. The worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. Buddy, you would be dead before you could grab your sword, and you and I both know that. If it weren't for the birds bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wound as we were wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then... Night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, the terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but body broken, a soldier in name only. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. Yeah, we all know that that is not going to happen, is it, buddy? This radio is the same model as the one used at Victor's spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Did you learn anything of note? Then your findings are consistent with my own. The plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Yeah, sure. Who's there? My eyes. I can't see all that well. Ah, thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. So those you met fare no better. I was afraid you would say that. I knew we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintans may have made his feeling on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade them, though we need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Gillis, the people here have barely enough to feed and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside, until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees, or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse, instead of better. If it is ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity, you absolute idiot. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye. Everything will change. Yeah, those mysterious countrymen of yours, I assume. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telophoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructed them to join forces with the provincial legions, to prepare for a combined assault on the Telophoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Thence we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before the reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring you ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. Alright then. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the depth of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Okay then. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. We are now officially halfway into the 82-83 quests. And that's including the stuff that happened 10 days ago, I should mention. His park materials. We will begin our search for ceruleum in Regio Urbanissima. The first location is Forum Solis, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Yeah, we are exactly halfway. Although, to be fair, since I know what is going to come... yeah, like, this next level is going to be rather action-packed. I know that much. At least, you know, like, later on, like, the second half of this. Like, the first half is mostly a lot of what we've seen before. Christ. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst these all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were built around them. Oh, that makes sense, I guess. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. The park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Zulsgalvus, or Emmet Zelt as we know him. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in this vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect anything to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see, then with your permission we will commence the search. Oh, hang on, let me first of all go ahead and grab, let's actually first go to shopping counter. It's a weird thing too, like, you can only imagine, like, the, like, children playing here. And, like, people just kind of start walking around, shopping. Though rather small by Guardian standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that would be fueled by ceruleum. first, I did see an ether current right here. It's a map of Forum Soleus. Also, the map in Camp Broken Glass actually lines up with your own map, so you can kind of see why everything is based on that map. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Soleus. The ponds, children's play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of cerulean. It's obviously very quiet, and it's not necessarily unnerving, but just sad. Like there's a little pond over here, there's a little watchtower. Like this is obviously the towers that we're looking at right here. So further in, there's another tower. There's a little pond. And look at what's left of it now. And maybe in a different expansion, this could have been two areas entirely on their own, like the snow towards Garlemald and Garlemald itself. A cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, just as Julius said. The contraption is built in the style of Imperial war machine armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appeared to be no more than a children's slide. Forum Soleus. It was in this square that Emperor Solus inspected his troops before embarking upon his second campaign into the Far East. The Imperial legions were ultimately successful in their subjugation of the Kingdom of Dalmatia. An official celebrated the grand victory by transforming the parade ground into a commemorative public park. Hang on. Oh, it's you. Any luck? I'm wondering about the water, to be honest. There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, I mean, I know I'm... It's just... I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it freezing from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done. Every time. And each time when we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a ceruleum-powered heater, by chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath a hedge. But that was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish mud. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hedge might be. Well, that's why you have us, buddy. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Guardian would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has a few foreign signifieri and medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now? Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of fire should do the trick. Oh, no. No, no, we are not going to do this. You're not planning to go in there, are you? I mean, yes, that is kind of the plan. Of course I am. That thing is going to fetch itself. It's not like nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed cerulean from a frozen lake like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in the park, and we have a way of warming ourselves after. Ourselves up after. But that's insane. Yes! We've been known to do insane things. So, but no! This one's on you! Yes, Stepper said while I drink the pond dry. That way, I'll find it in no time. I'm an insane person. Yeah, maybe the stupidest person in my world. And that's saying something considering who my brother is. I can't fault your enthusiasm though. Let's do my way first. If that doesn't help, perhaps you can try your method. Over those help. Oh god. I'm so sorry. I just suddenly got the hiccups from that. The most sensible place to put a cerulean pipe is in, like, right in the middle. You'd love it to the murky water become up empty-handed. Oh no, we're chilled to the bone. God damn it. Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. Yay! We are not freezing to death today! Hooray! You open the hatch and retrieve a cerulean tank. Somehow that is... However, your grand discovery comes at a great personal cost, as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and rancid odor emanating from every elm of your body. Jealous will doubtedly feel compelled to pinch his nose shit way to liver in your prize. I'm not thinking it was like Zelda or something, but like they have like this whole... where he does his usual dance and people around him just go like... What are you doing? Did you find anything? I hope you did. Uncovering hidden treasure is an adventurous bread and butter. Though one is not normally required to go elbow deep in ice-cold, stagnant pond water to retrieve it. Nevertheless, many would choose that over mowing down hordes of slavering beasts or solving annoying puzzles. I hate how the game is calling itself out. Well, that's it. Also, something is happening in Nova's network, and I'm not 100% certain what it exactly is. And there's still some ceruleum left. Ah, the fire is still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphino a hand. Yes. Call me an Uldan because by fire I am reborn. And my clothes are mostly dry now too. I appreciate you recovering the Ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me before. No! Doing dumb shit is our bread and butter, is our trademark. Despite the way you've been treated in Lord Quintus' eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, you would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all well that ends well. Also, this is just a bread and butter. Get used to it if you plan to hang around with us. Jealous, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. Not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and his first contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in a brief respite the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Grey clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, those friends dead, and those memories. But if we could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had. Soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. And I also know exactly where I'm going to stop today, because there's a specific quest that once that quest kicks off, it's basically like no real stopping point until level 84. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. Yes, no good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, there's one very specific quest called In From the Cold, that once we start off that quest, there is no stopping that fucking train until we hit level 84, so... yeah. That's basically the stopping point for today. So about 3 or so quests still away. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time. That time being now. Rather than price them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casings using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you to stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering though, you should check the Machina Ceruleum gauge to see if there's any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Fair enough. Use burst, incendiary legion. Also, someone in Novus Network is like talking about how they're basically an American Republican, which I am not going to be talking about anything. I'm just empty. Yeah, that's pointless. Never mind, it's completely empty. There might be one right there. Also, someone is like in Nova's Notes like telling their entire life story. So yeah, nobody cares, but it's still happening. That's an automated colossus. Let's not go there. Ah, nice. There we go. We found a cerulean tank that's helpful. Or empty, depending on one's perspective. Yeah, like said in opposite work as well, it's like this, the atmosphere in this area is just so beautiful. Then again, every area in Endwalker is beautiful in its own way. More explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? Yes, it's a half-full cerulean tank. You've done it again! Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we're heading back. Wait here while I go see how Alphino and Elise are faring. There's like a very quiet, almost like a quiet desperation to this entire area.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Oh, hi, Thankrod.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are. And
also, I'm keeping that in because I'm talking in Nova's Novick right now.
After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of our scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
I mean, not necessarily.
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile.
Shush. We could still bite your ankles.
It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Now, why would you be up and walking?
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
So he still is holding on to that belief, isn't he?
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question.
Yep, there's only 3 quests left. At least for tonight. Like, tomorrow will be a ride, that much is for certain.
Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here, as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil.
Yeah, that's not happening, but...
Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Guardians make, indulge them.
Get them out of here.
Alphano and LSA will be fine, providing they do not resist. Alea Lactes can only be bad. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet you with your leader and present Lord Quintus' demands. Before we depart, however, there's something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. The task fails to Legionaries Marcellius and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the ill for further details, in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. They are so beyond desperate that they are basically killing their only chance at survival. What do you want with me? Ask the ill. So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. They're going to probably kill all of them, based on this. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. They are probably going to come on to kill everyone involved. And they will doom their own planet alongside it. You again. Ask the eel, he said. So, that be the way of it. After all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. It's just insane how it shows just how desperate people will give way to even more desperate solutions. Have you done as instructed? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There's one other matter. A place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Oh, hang on, that's the wrong one. Like I said, like whatever is going to happen next, it's not going to be pretty. Julius lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay, unable to move on. Let's just wait here.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. Promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
so cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos. Searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics. To see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alice.
Hello.
The scouts have secured Alizé and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well.
So about that...
They report no casualties. Not for their party, nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
So about that threat you made to us.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return!
Stop! Both of you!
It's not that that's immediately over, like just with a thought.
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
At the very least, it's very tasteful. As tasteful as something like this can be. Much more has occurred since we last met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the first. Tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. They were preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry. A reckless, short-sighted plan that risked the welfare of the people they are sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we would only incite panic. But perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Julius back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being, I'll take what I can get. Alphano, Alizé and the scouts sent to extradite them should already be at the station. I also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. That is In Pursuit of Power, which is a quest for later on. But I will do that one tomorrow. Before we start the utter madness that is in From the Cold. But first we need to go ahead and just kind of keep talking. Like we have one more quest to go, which for today, which is Strange Bedfellows. And now, once again, it's sunny. So after all of that, we... Now, for those of you who don't know, each area has two different tracks, depending on whether or not it's it's before or after 6 p.m. Eorzean time. So, like in 3 hours Eorzean time, the music will change towards the night music. There's not much to say at the moment. Like, we just kind of casually, or casually, I guess, as far as it can be casually done, casually walking towards the Tertarium. And from there, Tribe and Jealous. We arrived just before you did, and too late. Too late for what? What's happened? It's Lord Quintus. He took his own life. After the news about the 10th, he relieved us of our duties. Then, when he was alone, he... No, he wouldn't. Vankeret and the others, assisted by the soldiers, have seen to the remains. In due course, shall the legators be afforded a proper burial. He released us from our duty. He wanted us to be free to choose our own fate. Without him to guide us, I have just this moment spoken with Lucia. We are ready to commence the transfer of the refugees here to Camp Broken Glass, should they be willing to accept our aid. Some would rather die. But most of us just want to live. Song and standards be damned. We just want to live. We need to speak with the refugees. They'll have to decide for themselves if they wish to come with us. If any would prefer to stay, we can have supplies brought over for them. It will be a hard journey for the others, but we'll see that they reach our camp safely. Aye. Aye. It was only ever a dream, wasn't it? To think we could reclaim it, rebuild it all ourselves. Before this all began, I sent my wife and daughter away to the prophetess. If there's a chance I might see them again, I'll take it. So take me with you, please. And now we can officially attune to Tertiarium. Well, got the Aetheryte sorted in the end. All it took was a few adjustments, and now it works as well as it ever did. From what I can tell, the one in Laternum is also functioning as normal. That's where you lot are staying, isn't it? Now that most of us are packing up and leaving this place, I reckon there will be more use for me and my skills over at your camp. You can see that now the first quests have been unlocked. To employ healing magics now would likely invite catastrophe, as thou canst attest from thy experiences at Victor's Spoil. Indeed, Gallian view our ability to manipulate ether with the same suspicion that many Mayosians do Magitech. Oh, my apologies, I thought that you were the questline. Oh no, now I've started to go ahead and use my Irish accent without any real reason. Isn't that a shame? Ah, it's you, the one who treated me with such kindness. I heard from the others that you're different, not from around here. I thought you were one of us. Not that it makes much of a difference now. Purebloods, migrants, savages. After a while the words start to lose meaning. Until all you're left with is anger and fear and hate, and I'm tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, I'll be glad to accept. It's almost as a monument to our folly. We have much to discuss. Our rescue, the attack on Camp Broken Glass, what we'd hoped to talk about with Quintus. But all that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are any of the refugees willing to come to our camp? Thank the 12. You and I should go first and secure the road back to Camp Broken Glass. With all the creatures and tempered skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Conqueror's Chain, courtesy of our Luminsian friends. I'd save it for the template though. I'll mark a few points that need surveying on your map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet back at our camp. I'm mostly just very quiet today because this entire area is just very contemplative. So close to being able to just press on through. So yeah, we have about 3 more things to do. I'm not certain if there's going to be a very long cutscene. I believe the cutscene was basically at the start. Let's have a look. We have 4 more enemies to deal with. Once again, it's like a place with not a whole lot of enemies to kill, but that's simply because the game has kind of moved away from that as a storytelling device into more cerebral. So really into more just, you know, to the entire place. I'll have more to talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow, and I can already spoil this, tomorrow we will be having a dungeon and a trial. So there's like lots to talk about for tomorrow in that regard. Whereas today is just a lot of like just accepting what's going on, basically. It's all the same. I guess it's just keep killing with. Okay, there we go. Moving on to the third. And I bet I don't need to tell you what the dungeon tomorrow is going to be. Not even quite sure yet. Well, we're stopping tomorrow. It kind of depends on like a lot of factors, like how long are we going to be stuck in certain places, how long are certain cutscenes going to be. It's kind of the weird part about 83 is like for a while it's like very low key, and then all of a sudden it all starts moving in really fast. You see no threats on the path ahead. Okay. Like, that's just the weird thing about Garlemald especially. Is for a while it's very contemplative, and then, as you will see tomorrow, it will all of a sudden like go from 0 to 100. Then there will be another bit of quiet time, and then, once again, the game will... And from that... Actually, no, I think about it, level 84 is, I believe, the last bit of quiet time that the game is going to throw at us. From then on, it's just always... in one form or another, deeply serious. Yeah, we're almost done. Just one more enemy to kill, and then 2 more people to talk to, and then that's it for today. Of course, that does not include any. That obviously does not include any cutscenes. Like that might up the runtime a bit. And then tomorrow we will basically first go up until the point that we hit the Tower of Babel, and then we will go and do all of the additional quests and get everything so that once we are done with the tower, we can we unlock flying. Okay, there we go. It's also interesting to notice that Van Daniel has just not shown up in this area yet, despite the fact that he obviously almost has to be looking from here. Like, I feel like that's almost a given. Ah, there you are. As expected, I ran into a few beasts who went down without so much of a fight. The temper proved somewhat troublesome, but our change should keep them under control until our allies take them into custody. With that taken care of, I'm to gather a few supplies and then return to the station. While I see to that, we might approach appraising Lucia of our progress. As it happens, I have some rather pertinent information from our recent scouting forays, but I'll save that for later. First things first and all that. So yeah. All we need to do now is talk to Lucia. Ah, that's right. I was informed of Quintus' suicide. It must have come as a great shock to his men. What of the refugees? I'm told you were receptive to our, somewhat receptive to our proposal, but I would hear your first-hand account. That so many did not hesitate to accept proves how desperate their situation has become. We'll do our best to make them feel welcome. The troops who participated in the ambush are no exception. They will be afforded the same treatment as any other refugees. Perfidy notwithstanding. After all, even if I wanted to make an example of them, there's no one left to learn from. Learn from it. We will tell our allies that these soldiers were acting under the direct orders of the legatus, and that following his suicide, they offered a full and unconditional surrender. Perhaps Quintus thought that, had he lived, he would be tried as a war criminal, and his men punished with him. Perhaps, by taking his own life, he hoped to absolve them of any culpability. Or perhaps, like too many others, he was a true believer to the end. Who can say? I didn't know the man or his heart. His reasons, noble or otherwise, died with him, and it fails to us to clean up the mess. And tomorrow, we will continue. As you can see, we now have unlocked all the quests that will open up parts of the different ether currents. Tomorrow, we are going to... hang on. Tomorrow we're going to be finishing up Garlemald. We're going to be entering the Tower of Babel. And that little moon we've been staring at for so long. I get a feeling we just might go there. That's all for tomorrow. Let me see if I